Good evening, everyone. Can I just read out some information about Council's governance rules before we commence the meeting? Council meetings, making them a safe place for everyone. During the Council meeting, members of the public cannot address the meeting outside of public question time, must not interject or act offensively, must remain seated, must switch your mobile phones to mute, so make sure that you just check these, and I've checked mine as well, are on mute, so they're quiet. Must not operate any recording device, audio and or visual, without obtaining the consent from the Chief Executive Officer at least 3 days prior to the meeting, and can display placards or posters, provided they are not offensive, do not obstruct entrances and exits to the chambers, or impede any view or person. The Chair can direct any members of the public to stop interjecting or acting offensively. If that behaviour continues, the Chair can ask an authorised officer or a member of Victoria Police to remove members of the public from the chamber. Thank you. I'll now hand over to the Mayor to commence the meeting.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to this Council meeting Monday, the 27th of May, 2024. Item 1.2, attendance, please, Ms Weatherall.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. We have an apology this evening from Councillor Jim Mametti.
Thank you. Item 1.3, acknowledgement of traditional custodians of the land. We acknowledge the traditional custodians of this land, the Bunurong people, and pay respect to their elders past and present. We recognise and respect their continuing connections to climate, culture, country and waters. And we also pay our respect and acknowledge all Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples and their elders present here today in acknowledging their journey. Please stay standing. Item 1.4, offering of prayer, reflection or affirmation. As part of Council's commitment to recognising the cultural and spiritual diversity of our community, the prayer, reflection or affirmation this evening will be offered by Sri Vani Wiji Kumar, member of the Greater Dandenong Interfaith Network. Thank you.
Thank you, Ma'am. So I'll start with Om Shanti and I'll finish with Om Shanti. So Om Shanti. You can all be seated. You can all be seated. So Om Shanti is a greeting of peace. So I will start with reflection with Om Shanti and end the reflection with Om Shanti. So first, breathe in peace. Breathe out any tension. And again, breathe in peace. Breathe out any tension. Now relax your body, your feet, shoulders, neck, and your thinking and your mind. Then waken a memory of your deepest feeling of peace and calm. Remember, listen, allow the calm feelings to flow into you and through you. Connect to this feeling of deep peace and calm. Observe it. Fill yourself with these feelings. Gently return to your innermost peaceful and calm place. Finally, feeling refreshed and empowered from the peaceful feelings of the calm center, let this feeling of calm and peace flow into your life and to the atmosphere of the meeting as you are sharing this evening. Om Shanti. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Item 1.5, confirmation of minutes of previous meeting. Can I get a mover, please? Thank you, Deputy Mayor. Councillor Lim.
Seconded.
Thank you, Councillor Milkovich. Are there any questions? Is there any opposition? The item is carried. Item 1.6, disclosures of interest, please, Ms Weatherall.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. And this evening we have one conflict of interest from Councillor Rhonda Garrard, and it concerns item number 4.2.6, which is a request to purchase a property for open space, confidential. She has a close association with the property, so she's declared an interest.
Thank you. Item 2, Officers' Reports, Part 1, 2.1 Documents for Sealing, 2.1.1 Documents for Sealing. Can I have a mover, please?
Move.
Thank you. Councillor Tan.
I'll move. Second.
Seconded by Councillor Long. Thank you. Are there any questions? Is there any opposition? The item is carried. Item 2.2, Petitions and Joint Letters. 2.2.1, Petitions and Joint Letters. Can I have a mover, please? Thank you. Councillor Trong. Seconder. Thank you. Councillor Dan. As a seconder, are there any questions? Is there any opposition? The item is carried. Item 2.3, statutory planning applications. 2.3.1, planning delegated decisions issued April 2024. Can I have a mover, please?
Happy to move it.
Thank you, Councillor Milkovich. Seconder. Thank you, Councillor Long. Are there any questions? Is there any opposition? The item is carried. I'll do it after this one.
Yep.
Item 2.3.2, planning decisions issued by Planning Minister's Delegate, April 2024. Can I get a mover, please? Thank you. Deputy Mayor, Councillor Lim. Seconded. Thank you, Councillor Tan. Are there any questions? Is there any opposition? The item is carried. Ms Weatherall, you have an announcement for us?
Yes, I do, Mayor. Before we start public question time, I would like to present to you 2 awards which the City of Greater Dandenong received recently at the 2024 Awards for Excellence with LG Pro. So we were winner of Service Delivery Initiative with our refugee immunisation program. And the second award we won was for Indigenous Australian Health Program New Direction Mother and Babies Program, and that was in conjunction with a number of other municipalities in the southeast as well.
Yeah. Fantastic, thank you. Peter, did you want to come up for a photo? Yes?
I have a
Councillor
question
Garrett?
regarding the award.
We're just going to do the presentation.
I just have a question regarding the award.
Regarding the award? Yep, okay.
It's wonderful that the council has picked up these awards. Can you confirm that the vaccination program we won the award for has ceased being funded by the state government, and that has that decision been rescinded?
I'll let Ms Gillies answer that.
Thank you for your question, Councillor Garrard. Yes, unfortunately, that program did cease at the end of last calendar year. We did receive some additional funding to help support the local area health network in being able to provide vaccinations to the group within our community that would previously have accessed this program. We did do quite a strong advocacy piece around this over a good 6 months last year, but unfortunately we weren't successful in that program being continued. The really positive news, though, for both of these programs is the legacy they leave within the community in terms of really being able to demonstrate how best we can work with members of our community that have struggled to engage with us previously. So we're really proud of that work, including bilingual staff as part of the programs.
Thanks, Ms Gillies. Yes, Councillor Garrard?
I just want to clarify that we were given an outstanding award for an outstanding program and immediately defunded for that program. Just to clarify.
In fact, we have won 2 awards now relating to PRIME, which is the immunisation program. We won a national award middle of last year. We were advised just after that, within a couple of weeks, that the program would be defunded. It's worth noting, though, that the awards aren't from the Department of Health, who are the government department that fund the program. They've been from LG Pro, as an example, who's a professional body in terms of local government as well as an additional award that we've won for the Baby Makes 3 program has also come from Reconciliation Australia.
Thanks, Ms Gillies. And on that, can you come up and we can accept the award, take a photo and thank all the staff for their amazing work with this program. Thanks for that. Item 3, public question time, please.
Thank
Ms.
you,
Weddell.
Mayor. And we've got quite a few questions tonight. Some people are in attendance and some aren't, so we'll work our way through these. The first question this evening is from Philip Lamaro of Dandenong. If Philip would like to come up to the microphone. Philip has a question on tree planting. Okay, Philip's not here. I will read out the question. In Greater Dandenong Council's Activity Centre, tree planting policy has chosen 196 locations in central Dandenong, 122 in Springvale and 123 in Noble Park for areas that Council has selected that trees should be planted. This is a 10-year plan to have all these locations filled with trees, which was started in 2020 and to be completed by 2030. In the past 4 years of this policy being introduced and endorsed by Greater Dandenong Council, could I please be advised of how many of the 196 locations in central Dandenong have been planted in the last 4 years? How many of the 196 locations in central Dandenong are to be planted this year? Can I ask the Executive Director, City Futures, Mr Manavasa Gasavan, to respond, please?
Thank you, Philip, for your question. In 2020, Council undertook a comprehensive audit on the number of trees and the levels of canopy cover of its 3 activity centres, Dandenong, Springvale and Noble Park. And the data was used to develop a 10-year activity centres tree planting plan to increase street tree plantings, canopy coverage to improve urban cooling and reduce the heat island effects. The tree planting guided by a plan commenced in 2021. 58 of the proposed tree planting locations in Dandenong Activity Centre has been planted. There are 24 tree planting locations scheduled for this planting season.
Thank you. Philip Lamaro has another question on councillor conduct policy. Casey Council recently adjusted their councillor conduct policy with 2 amendments to reduce the possibility for councillors to abuse their position. These are A, upon planning matters, the proponent and all the parties involved, including the applicant, developer, landowner and consultant, will be required to disclose reportable donations and other financial arrangements with relevant decision makers. B, requires the Council to document alternate recommendations for any planning scheme amendment decisions to ensure transparency in decision making. Would Greater Dandenong Council look at introducing the same amendments to ensure councillors are held to the same standards? And if not, why not? Can I ask Mr Foley, who is Executive Director Corporate Development, to respond, please?
Through you, Mayor. And first, thank you for your question, Philip. Under the Local Government Act 2020, Council must review its Councillor Code of Conduct within 4 months of the council election. Currently, State Parliament is considering a local government amendment, Governance and Integrity Bill for 2024. At this time, this proposed legislation is mandating a model councillor code of conduct. So we will await legislation being passed and given royal assent after council elections in October this year before reviewing this document.
Thank you. Our next question is from Isabella Doe of Springvale and concerns 51A Douglas Street, Noble Park. With the potential loss and removal of tree 2 that stands on 51A Douglas Street, which areas within Noble Park will the council develop or enhance to ensure residents have access to shaded and recreational spaces, especially during the warmer months? Can I ask Mr Manavasa Gasavan to respond, please?
Through you, Mayor, the Council planted 20,000 trees over the last 10 years to improve canopy cover within the municipality. We will continue to invest in urban forest strategy to improve the canopy cover across Greater Dandenong, and we will consider where the locations in Noble Park to improve the canopy cover best suited for the community.
Thank you. Our next question is from Christina Sharaf of Noble Park, and again it concerns 51A Douglas Street, Noble Park. I wish to add my voice to the chorus of concern about the removal of the gum trees on Douglas Street, Noble Park. Why can't you stipulate that the building plans of whatever is going to include the gums as local features? We locals love our trees. Can I ask Mr Manavasa Gasavam to respond, please?
Thank you for your question. The planning permit for this development, including the removal of trees, was approved at the direction of the Minister for Planning. Council did object to the proposed development. However, as the Minister approved this development, Council unfortunately cannot override the planning permit.
Thank you. And our next question is from former Councillor Ros Blades of Noble Park and concerns Volunteer Week. Could you please let me know what volunteer activities are occurring during Volunteer Week? Can I ask Ms Gillies to respond, please?
Through you, Madam Mayor, and thank you very much, Ros, for your question. National Volunteer Week was celebrated from the 20th to the 26th of May, so it was actually last week. Activities that occurred for council volunteers in the lead up to and during Volunteer Week included a drama theatre show followed by an appreciation lunch with our Mayor, interfaith tour, which included morning tea, lunch and some meditation as well. And we did some volunteer promotions on our big screen, so in at Harmony Square, at Springvale Community Centre, in the display windows that we've got around this building, as well as council news and volunteer thank you and appreciation flags. On May the 22nd, the Greater Dandenong Volunteer Resource Service also had an appreciation lunch at Belletti's for local agencies, and I will just take the opportunity to again say thank you to everyone that volunteers within the municipality. You make a huge difference to our community.
Thanks for that, Ms Gillies. What we'll also do is mention to Ros that we had the dinner on Tuesday night for our SES and CFA volunteers for the February Storm event. So big thank you to them again, and it was a great evening. Thanks, Ms Weatherall.
Thank you, Mayor. Our next question is from Kim Handley of Clyde concerning the Oasis pool. I just seek to note that this question was asked at the last council meeting, even though it was not read out because it did not comply with governance rules, and it was taken on notice. Council officers have contacted Ms Handley directly post-meeting to discuss the question. Council officers have offered to investigate any alleged incident. However, to do so, they require further information from Ms Handley. The question is a repeat question and again won't be read out at the meeting under Council's governance rules. Ms Handley also has asked another question on LGBTIQA+ Advisory Board, and it's been slightly modified to enable it to comply with the governance rules. In 2023, Ms Handley and approximately 300 others signed a petition for Greater Dandenong to have an LGBTIQA+ Advisory Board and has asked, when will this advisory board be created? And can I ask Ms Gillies on behalf of the Executive Manager, Strategic Growth and Advocacy to respond?
Through you, Madam Mayor, and thank you, Ms Handley, for your question. In February 2024, so after that petition was received, officers did advise in a council meeting of the work being undertaken to establish whether a regional advisory committee or a local type committee would best support the requirements of our community. As part of this, and to understand the needs of our community, we're also currently planning an informal forum for local LGBTIQA+ members to gauge the ideas. So we'll put a number of options to them and we'll get some community feedback on those options. We're currently working towards having that recommendation for the incoming council to consider as part of what is a standard overall process of review for council advisory committees and the like for any incoming council. In the meantime, once announced, council really encourages, it's a really important issue, council really encourages members of the community to reach out directly to candidates once they've been announced for the upcoming election to further express their desire for such an advisory group or committee in the municipality.
Thank you, Ms Gillies. Our next question is from Scott Peters of Dandenong, concerns water fountains. On Lonsdale Street and Palm Plaza, there's approximately 10 water fountains for pedestrians and not one is accessible for dogs. Some councils have converted all their public water fountains to have dog accessibility, but Greater Dandenong has not done this. Would council look at least converting 1 or 2 of these water fountains to have dog accessibility for people that are walking their dogs? Can I ask Mr Manavasa Gasavam to respond, please?
Thank you for your question, and our placemaking and revitalisation team assess your request, and current drinking fountains are fit for purpose, recognising the Dandenong Activity Centre is a metropolitan activity centre. When these assets require replacement, council will consider replacing them with the multifunctional drinking fountains.
Thank you. Our next question is from Elizabeth Grasso of Keysborough. Is Elizabeth in attendance? Elizabeth, would you like to come up to the microphone, please, and read out your question?
What are the projections for canopy cover growth over the next decade in the Noble Park business area?
Thank you for your question. Through you, Mayor. The Noble Park Activity Centre currently has a canopy coverage of 11.5%. Council is aiming to increase the canopy coverage across the municipality, including Noble Park, to 50% by 2028. To assist in achieving this, Council has implemented a 10-year activity centre tree planting program.
Thank you.
Thank you. Our next question is from Isabel Nash of Keysborough. Is Isabel in attendance? Isabel, would you like to come up to the microphone? Thank you.
Good evening. Pardon me. Sorry. Over the past week, I have walked up and down the Noble Park shopping precinct in Noble Park, i.e. Douglas Street and Ian Streets and the adjoining shopping streets, where I personally spoke with many shopkeepers, business owners and local shoppers. Everyone I spoke with was shocked and deeply disappointed at the prospect of losing the river red gums at 51 Douglas Street and wanted to see the trees remain in place. What level of consultation was conducted regarding the decision to remove Tree 2 at the mentioned address, and how were the views and inputs from the Noble Park community incorporated into this decision?
Thank you. Mr Manivanagasa Masam, if you could respond, please.
Yeah. Through you, Mayor. Thank you for your question. The Minister of Planning undertook community consultation during its assessment of the planning scheme amendment and planning permit application. Following this notification period, 11 submissions were received by the Minister for Planning. Among these submissions, including councils, concerns were raised about in relation to the loss of native vegetation on site. After considering those submissions, Minister subsequently approved the planning permit, including the removal of the trees.
Thanks. Thank you for that.
Initially objected to the tree removal?
That's correct.
Thank you.
Yep.
Thanks. How does the potential loss of Tree 2 at 51 Douglas Street, Noble Park, align with the Council's long-term goals for canopy coverage and biodiversity in the area?
Thank you. If I could ask Mr Manivasa Gasavam to respond again, please.
Through you, Mayor, the potential offset payment and use of these funds for increased planting in Noble Park will provide, in the long term, a greater canopy cover, which is in line with the Council's urban forest strategy.
Thank you.
My final question, thank you. In this current agenda document, the City of Greater Dandenong states as one point of its Community Vision 2024 that our growing city is committed to environmental sustainability. Considering the low tree canopy and the likely age of approximately 300 years, not 80, of the River Red Gum Tree 2 at 51A Douglas Street, what measures are Council taking to protect and sustain this tree, which provides a living link to our area's past, a sentinel stature in the landscape, and a plethora of biodiverse life and a contribution to the local ecosystem?
Thank you. Mr. Manivasa Gasavam could respond. Thanks.
Yes, through you, Mayor. Unfortunately, the Minister for Planning has made this decision that tree removal is acceptable. Given this decision and that Council was directed to issue the permit, it has placed Council in a difficult position as we are responsible for this permit. Therefore, the ability to retain the tree during the planning scheme amendment and the permit process was not within Council's control and was decided by the Minister of Planning. And we note that Minister of Planning made this decision because of its provide 97 affordable housing for the community.
Thank you. Thanks, Isabel.
Thank you. Our next question is from Pam Naylor of Noble Park. Would Pam like to come up to the microphone?
Evening, Mayor and Councillors, and everyone else here tonight. How does the Council plan to address the impact on local wildlife habitats resulting from the removal of the large river red gum at 51A Douglas Street? And what steps will be taken to ensure that displaced fauna from the alternative habitats in Noble Park?
Thanks, Pam. We'll ask Mr. Manivasa Gasavam to respond, please.
Through you, Mayor, the Council will closely work with the developer and also make sure that any habitat identified will be protected as part of the ongoing workmanship with the developer.
Thank you.
Builder, you're going to be working with the builder, is that right?
That's what he said.
Right, okay. And he'll have the contacts, will he? Right. Okay, so my second question is, how does the potential loss of community-owned Tree 2 at 51A Douglas Street set a precedent for future development projects, particularly in balancing development needs with the environment and community values?
Thank you. If I could ask Mr.
How will the Council ensure that green spaces are preserved in Noble Park's urban planning decisions?
Thank you. I'll ask Mr. Manivagasam to respond to both of those questions. Thanks.
Yes, thanks. And as previously noted, the decision to grant a planning permit for this site, including tree removal, was the Minister for Planning. In Council submission, we objected the removal of the trees, and if Council would have been in the responsible decision maker of this site, it is highly unlikely the Council would have granted a planning permit for this tree removal. However, we understand that the Minister made the decision in order to provide 97 affordable housing development on this site. When assessing the planning applications, the retention of existing trees is assessed on a case-by-case basis, including factors such as trees' health, species, location, and the proposed landscaping plan outcomes as a result of the proposals, including increased canopy cover through increased tree planting on the site.
Thanks very much for that. Thank you. That was your 3 questions. Thank you.
Thank you. And Zoe Mole of Springvale has another presentation on 51A Douglas Street, Noble Park, and some questions she'd like to make.
Hello, everyone. My first question is, can Council confirm if the poor health of Tree 1 at 51A Douglas Street, Noble Park, is likely attributed to the impact of paving covering the root system? If so, how will the Council prevent this issue across the municipality going forward?
Thanks, Zoe. We'll ask Mr. Manivasa Gasavam to respond, please.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you for your question. Tree health can be impacted by so many environmental factors. In this instance, we are unable to confirm if the amount of paving around the base of tree has directly impacted the tree health and vigor. So in order to second question, the impact of civil infrastructure surrounding trees within our active centres can be negated by designing and investing in tree planting systems which provide adequate below ground space while supporting surrounding infrastructure. These systems were successfully installed in Greater Dandenong within Lonsdale Street and Railway Parade. This is why some of the works cost much more than anywhere in planting the open space areas.
Thank you. How does the potential loss of Tree 2 at 51A Douglas Street align with the Council's urban greening strategy and the village-like development strategy for Noble Park?
Thanks, Zoe. We'll ask Mr. Manivasa Gasavam to respond again, please.
So as mentioned before, utilising the 155,000, Council will investigate the opportunity to offset the loss of canopy through strategic tree planting within the surrounding Noble Park activity centres.
Thank you so much for your question. No, that's
three questions, so the fourth one can't be read out, sorry.
We'll respond to that one. We'll respond to it. Thanks, Zoe.
Okay, our next question is from Gay Guest of Keysborough. Is Gay available? Is she here?
Good evening. At the Canopy Tree exhibition at Heritage Hill, Les McLean outlined the history of the Natural Resource Conservation League, which proudly started in Noble Park by Councillor Cyril Isaac, a nurseryman, a trustee, and then an MP until 1952. NRCL put Noble Park on the map for being at the forefront of conservation and sustainability after the devastation of the statewide bushfires in 1939. And in 1944, there was a massive community planting at Greaves Reserve, recognising the importance of greening Victoria at the end of World War II. NRCL is now a trust, supporting sustainability projects to this day. Considering the meagre investment of $155,000 for only 15 new trees at 51 Douglas Street, Noble Park, which equates to approximately $10,000 per tree, how does Council justify this cost per tree, and is this considered standard in the urban forest practices given our own parks team only support new trees in the first 2 years of their lives?
Thank you. I will ask Mr. Manivasa Gasavam to respond, please.
Thank you for your question. The cost to install and establish a tree in a highly modified urban environment, such as Noble Park Activity Centre, is high due to several factors. An in-depth site analysis is required at each potential planting locations to understand underground services and limitations and soil conditions. The site analysis includes assessment of available above and below ground space to determine the level of intervention and civil works required to incorporate suitable growing systems while supporting the surrounding infrastructure. This is an estimated cost as Council gone after the Council decision. Once Council analysed these areas, it could be 15 trees or it could be more than that. This estimated cost includes 2.5 metre high semi-mature trees to be planted in the activity centre.
Thank you.
The experts I have engaged with over our magnificent sentinel trees have indicated that they are priceless, healthy, and the two gums are a pairing, one protecting the other against unpredictable climate changes. The trees have been compared to the Bilston tree near Casterton, the biggest gum tree in the world, which was saved through community advocacy, and ours are of similar age, a DBH 300 years old, and stand because of the intimate flooding Noble Park has experienced in its history. Can Council provide a detailed breakdown of how and where the proposed pitiful $155,000 for the removal of Tree 2 will be allocated towards the replacement, planning and maintenance of the new trees in the area, and will the community be consulted on this? LXR promised to seed collect back in 2015 from the 66 river red gums that were destroyed in our rail corridor to replant saplings back in Noble Park, and that was a broken promise in a sham consultation.
Thank you, Ms Guest. We note your views. I'll get Mr Manavasagasavan to respond.
Thank you for your question. As noted in the reports in tonight's agenda, the offset payment is to be allocated in the 24-25 budget to plant trees within Noble Park. This work can only commence once the Council has made the decision to accept this option and the developer has paid the amount it stated.
Thank you very much.
It was a sad day when important information about the Sentinel River red gum trees only becomes known publicly 4 days before a council meeting, and this information was not shared in real time with Council's own Cultural Heritage Advisory Committee, the Historical Societies or the Greater Dandenong Environment Group. The lack of transparency over local issues in a timely manner is alarming, given the historical significance of these particular trees that are of a great age, rare form, unusual position, and that have kept watch over our suburb for many years. The Bilston River red gum was saved when the owner sold the land it stood on to the Department of Forestry to protect it, a wonderful heritage outcome. Our own council policy documents, at least 5 in total, should automatically protect these trees, and 4 items in the agenda tonight are a complete package and cannot be discussed as individual items. Would Council advocate for these 2 river red gums to stay in the hands of the residents for the deplorable sum of $155,000? To be admired, as this offer is a fire sale fraction of their actual worth.
Thank you, Ms Guest. We'll take that question on notice. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mayor. Our next question is from Jennifer Batten of Noble Park and concerns Kelvinside Road in Noble Park. Is Jennifer here? No. When crossing Kelvinside Road, Noble Park, there is no footpath to cross the road alongside Corrigan Road. Also, the ramp to cross to the other ramp on Memorial Drive from the playground to swimming pool is frequently blocked by a parked car. Photos can be supplied. Can I ask Mr Manavasagasavam to respond, please?
Thank you for your question. Prime crossings and path upgrades at the intersection of Corrigan Road and Kelvinside Road have been identified in the Active Transport Infrastructure Programme priority list, which compare all active transport infrastructure requests across the municipality. Unfortunately, we are currently unable to advise when the funding will be available for the construction of this path. The illegal parking across the prime crossing has been reported to the Council's parking enforcement team, who regularly patrol around the Noble Park Aquatic Centre. Due to the nature of the offending requiring a timely response, it is best to contact us via the phone. Council parking compliance officers are available to respond to the reports between the hours of 7 a.m. and 9 p.m. Monday to Friday, and will attend the time at the report.
Thank you. Our next question is from Mark Dalton of Melton. I'm assuming Mark's not here. How do you expect residents to follow your tree preservation rules when you ignore them yourselves? Use this instance to show how committed you are to saving our green cover. All the eucalyptus cameldalensis that have been removed have been replaced with trees of a completely different species, not ideal. Seed collection from local river red gums and growing on for planting around the city would be the way to go. The red gums in Memorial Drive were grown from seed from huge red gums that were removed at Springvale Railway Station many years ago. Can I ask Mr Manavasagasavam to respond, please?
Thank you for your question, Mark. As previously noted, the decision to grant a planning permit for the site, including tree removal, was by the Minister for Planning. In Council submission, we objected to the removal of the trees, and if Council would have been a responsible decision maker for the site, it is highly unlikely that the Council would have granted the planning permit for the tree removal. However, Council knows that the Minister made the decision in favour of 97 affordable housing required for the community.
Thank you. And our next question is from Eddie Kohler of Keysborough. Dear Councillor Garrard, I've contacted you on May the 10th without response, asking about trucks parking on Chapel Road after hours between Westwood Boulevard and Tyres Lane, causing potential accident traffic hazard. Can I ask Ms Gillies to respond, please?
Through you, Madam Mayor, and many thanks, Mr Kohler, for your question. We'll certainly look into that and come back to you as soon as possible.
Madam Mayor?
Councillor Garrard?
Can I provide more information about that?
Yep.
So Mr Kohler is a very conscientious resident who contacts me on a regular basis, roughly every month. And so for 4 years we have been notifying the council of trucks in the particular area that he has specified, and whilst the council does go out and find the trucks return. So for 3.5 years this has been a recurring event.
Thank you, Councillor Garrard. I'll have a look at that myself and discuss it with Ms Gillies' staff. Our next question is from Frank Strangers of Banghome. Rubbish dumping on our roads, not enough lighting, roads need to be sealed. Oh, sorry. Oh, sorry.
Did you want to come up and ask that question yourself? Yep, no worries, thank you. I don't have...
Good evening. My name is Frank Strangers. I live at 171 Harwood Road, Banghome. Given that I live only 9 kilometres from this council building and a stone's throw from large corporations like L'Oreal and Jayco Caravans, why is it that our road is still a dirt road? We also don't have sufficient street lighting, and the road looks like a rubbish tip at the hands of dumpers. I have counted at least 8 piles of around 6 cubic metres of concrete building and rubble and soil, each pile scattered on both sides of the road, and in some cases the rubbish is partially on the road and endangering road users. The rubbish has been there for over a month. How long is this going to be allowed to happen, and why is our voice not heard? Thank you.
Thank you, Mr Strange. I'll need to take that on notice and officers will come back to you as soon as possible.
This question was put last meeting. This question was put to you at last meeting and still nothing.
Councillor Garrard.
Thank you so much for your question. One of the reasons that the area is different to the commercial area over the other side of the road is because it is part of the Green Wedge, and the Green Wedge Management Plan advocates to keep that area, keep it in a countrified area to maximise the environmental value of that land. And that is why there is a significant difference in the tree, in the road and lighting of that area. Yeah, there's no lighting, that's right. And that's part... Yeah, because it is in the brief.
We're not going to get into a debate over it. Thank you so much. Thank you. Miss Weatherall.
I just seek to outline this was raised with Council on the 13th of May and by the looks of things is still under investigation, but we will come back to you.
Thank you.
Madam Mayor, that concludes our questions. Apologies, Mayor. There's one more question on tree roots from Anita Tapnell. Is Anita here? No. The tree roots and trunk encroaches on the footpath. The tree is partly owned by council. I think this may relate to the item on Noble Park that we're discussing this evening around 51A Douglas Street. Thank you.
Did you want Sanjay to respond? Yeah. Mr. Manivasa Gasavam, if you could respond, please, or take it on notice.
I'm happy to take that as a comment because I don't see there's any questions in there. It is purely a statement.
Thank you. Okay, Ms. Weatherall, you're going to table the questions taken on notice at last council meeting?
Yes, Madam Mayor, happy to table those to you now.
Thank you so much. Okay, item 4, Officers' Reports Part 2, 4.1, Policy and Strategy, 4.1.1, Canopy Cover Audit 2023. Can I get a mover, please? Well, you're not meant to raise your hand. You're meant to stand and state that it's you. Thank you, Councillor Garrard. We've had this email sent through. Seconder, please.
Seconder.
Thank you, Councillor Tan. Are there any questions? Is there any opposition? Question? Thanks, Councillor Garrard.
Thank you. Whilst there's a slight improvement in the overall tree canopy from the second audit, my question is where in the municipality are we losing trees and what is the cause for those loss of trees?
Mr. Manivasa Gasavam, if you could respond or take that on notice.
Thank you, Mayor. Through you, Mayor, Councillor Garrard, the 2023 Canopy Coverage Audit has identified that the activity centres of Dandenong, Noble Park and Springvale has declined in canopy coverage since the original audit was taken in 2016. However, despite this overall decrease, over the last 2 years, each activity centre has been increased in canopy coverage. Reasons for the decline in canopy coverage since 2006 primarily relate to the works that have occurred in these activity centres, such as level crossing removal projects in Noble Park.
Thank you for that. Councillor Garrard.
Thank you. So whilst I understand that the trees are being lost in the most densely occupied areas, what are the strategies or actions planned to more evenly distribute the tree canopy within the City of Greater Dandenong?
Thank you. Mr. Manivasa Gasavam, if you could respond.
Through you, Mayor. In terms of strategies to address this issue, Council has commenced a 10-year activity centres tree planting program. This has initially had focus on Noble Park, which has resulted in 2.8% increase in canopy cover in Noble Park Activity Centre in the last 2 years.
Thank you. Councillor Garrard.
Given the significant importance of trees in the heating, the increased heat that we know is coming to us, how are we ensuring that disadvantaged residents living in more disadvantaged areas will have the same amount of tree protection as those in the wealthier areas?
Thank you. Mr. Manivasa Gasavam, if you could respond, please.
Through you, Mayor. Council is also planning to develop a strategic planting program which will focus on planting in areas highest need. To do this, urban heat island effect impacts, level of pedestrian traffic and areas of disadvantage will be assessed to determine the priorities for this program. this development of this program is currently intended to commence next financial year.
Thanks for that. Any further questions? Any opposition? The item is carried. Councillor Garrard.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I want to congratulate the council for almost a 5% increase in tree canopy cover, and this has only happened because of the endeavours of the councillors in this room, actually, that have pushed very hard for significant tree planting, particularly over the last 4 years, and we have seen the fruits of that push. So I wish to congratulate all involved.
Thank you. Item 4.1.2, Draft Climate Change Community Engagement and Mobilisation Plan 2024 to 2029 Community Consultation. Can I have a mover, please? Councillor Garrard. Seconder? Thank you, Councillor Dan. Are there any questions? Is there any opposition? The item is carried. Councillor Garrard.
Madam Mayor, I wish to congratulate the Council on this body of work and the response to the notice of motion. The importance of co-design and the community involvement so that we do get it right, that we do provide policies and procedures and plans that actually do meet the need of our very diverse and the unique needs of our community. So I thank the Council for responding so positively and comprehensively, and for the ongoing commitment to working with the community.
Thank you. Moving on to the next item, 4.2 Other, 4.2.1, number 51A Douglas Street, Noble Park, affordable housing project, request for consent to remove one river gum tree, tree 2.
I got the alternate motion, Mayor.
Yes, Councillor Tan, what's your alternate?
Thank you. Firstly, thanks everyone for attending today. This item is really passionate. It's in my ward, so it's a great honour to be here to representing my community as well. So my alternate for this item, item one, that council resolve want to proceed with option 1 and continue not to consent to removal of tree 2 from council's land. Item 2. Continue to negotiate with the developer and the level crossing removal projects, LXI, to redesign and retain the river red gum tree, tree 2, which is located on the footpath. And 3, acknowledge the importance of buildings affordable housing that need to be balanced with community amenities.
Is there a seconder? Councillor Garrard.
Mayor,
questions?
I would like
Yes.
to move an amendment.
Move an amendment.
Yeah, to the alternate motion.
What's the amendment, please?
Thank you, Mayor. The amendment is add point 4. Point 4 is if item 1 cannot be resolved, subject to the developer making $155,000 offset payment in accordance with the tree valuation assessment, and point 5, the offset payment be allocated to the 2024-25 budget to plant trees in the Noble Park Activity Centre. This must include community consultation. That is my amendment. Thank you, Mayor.
Mover and seconder happy with that? Are you happy with the amendment? Otherwise, we go back to the alternate motion. You happy with that? You happy with that? Yep. Councillor Riley, do you have a seconder?
No, he doesn't.
Okay, for the alternate. Okay. Everyone's happy with the alternate? We're not up to that.
Can we just focus on... Okay, so we now have an
Excellent.
alternate motion with 5 points.
Yes.
Now, any questions?
Yes. Any questions regarding that? Any opposition?
Indicated opposition, Mayor. Thank you.
Madam Mayor, just a point of clarification.
Thank you, Councillor Milkovich. One moment, please. We'll start off with you, Councillor Garrett, and then we'll go to you, Councillor Milkovich.
Just a point of clarification. Can the relevant officer confirm that the figure of 155 has not been secured as yet? This is an ambered figure at this stage.
Thank you, Mr. Manivasagasavam. If you could respond, please.
So the 155,000 is developed through the Melbourne tree policy, and that's the figure for that value, and we haven't secured that with the builder.
So just to confirm, has not been secured though?
No, not yet,
No.
because we will discuss those things after the council decision.
Thank you. Councillor Milkovich in opposition. Yep. We'll ask Councillor Tan as the speaker first.
Thank you, Mayor.
Mover.
Firstly,
You've got
I just
5
want to
minutes.
give some background about this development. So it has been approved from the Minister. So Council has strongly opposed to this planning permit since May 2022. So the development is about building 97 apartments on 51A Douglas Street with 6 stories, which is not kind of fitted into our planning scheme in Noble Park Activity Structure Plan because of the size of the area does not meet up to 200 square metres. So on that location, maximum you can build is 5 stories. Second, shortage of parking space, which is 79 parking space. But we did contact the Minister. We had a discussion, communication since 2022, right? It's been 2 years. We're opposing the permit application plus the removal of the trees. So, but it is out of our council's power because the Minister already approved it. So right now we try to at least save the River Valley Gum Tree, which is it's landed on council's land, even though it's partially owned, but we still own the tree as well. The tree costs, as you know, so the long life, which is probably more than 80 years old. And if you look at the report, expectancy life can grow up to another 100 years. So no cost, you can replace this tree. Planting 15, those 2.5 metres trees is going to take forever. So for me, oppositely, I have to, think about the value of the tree, one, to think about the community, what's going to happen in the area, how's it going to affect their life, not just community, the wildlife, you talk about the environmental, you can talk about the economic beneficial of the tree, social amenity, the impact of the area. And this is to do with the history of Noble Park. So there's no cost that can replace this tree. Second, Council has adopted many policies. So we just adopted the canopy report. So we need another, 15% to reach up to 2028. Why are we chopping more trees? We've got our policy adopted. So that means Council not supporting the greening of our neighbourhood strategy. We're not supporting the implementation of the greening, our city, urban tree strategy or tree protection that we just adopted earlier. So what are we doing here? Are we here to create policy and not save our own asset on our council's land? So I'm here to urge everyone here to support opposing to remove the tree and to negotiate with the developer and the level crossing authority. There's a way they can alter this because the tree is located on a footpath. We're not asking them to redesign the whole building construction. This is just the area to save the tree. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Tan. We'll ask Councillor Garrard as the seconder. 4 minutes.
Thank you. Thank you, Councillor Sophie Tan, for putting this motion up. One of the great misconceptions is that one tree can be replaced with another tree. This tree is over 200 years old, at a minimum of 200 years of age. It has significant cultural and historic significance to the residents in Noble Park. The replacement, even if we do secure the $155,000, none of those trees will compensate for the loss of biodiversity. This tree currently is home to numerous species of birds, insects and other wildlife, and none of those trees for up to 20 years will compensate for the amount of biodiversity that will be lost. Secondly, in terms of this critical time of a climate crisis, when we need every tree, particularly our large trees that significantly sequester a large amount of carbon, cannot be replaced with trees that in the first 10 years actually emit carbon and will not be at their full capacity to absorb carbon for 20, 30, 40 years. And so it is an absurdity to say that you can chop down this tree and plant a few others and it's an equivalent compensation. The loss of historic and cultural significance, especially to Indigenous communities and those residents that have been of long standing, is immeasurable, and that cannot be replaced with the planting of a few other trees. Also, the aesthetic value. That tree stands sentinel. Smack bang, it's the first thing you see as you turn either way, actually, in Noble Park. It sets the ambience of the area, and the loss of that tree will significantly scar the aesthetic landscape of Noble Park. It is recognisable, it is valued, it is of great significance. It is an important element of the ecosystem in that environment. It is vital to the stabilisation of soil, water filtration and temperature regulation. Also, it has a significant tree canopy which will protect the health of residents, particularly in hot events, but also in wind events. It also significantly protects the community against extreme wind events. This tree is greatly loved. We can see by the number of the community here, we can see that this campaign to save this tree has been going on for almost a year or more. We can see that it is deeply valued and deeply loved by the community, and therefore it is on us as stewards of this council in this moment to reflect the wants of the community and to save this tree.
Thank you. Councillor Milkovich, first in opposition to speak, please.
Thank you, Mayor. Mayor, I do not know whether to laugh or cry at what Councillor Tan has put before us. Her point 1 of alternate motion, in agreement with Councillor Shona Riley's point 3 of alternate motion, directly contradict each other. Do you want the tree or do you want the buildings? Do you want people to have somewhere to live, or do you want to save a tree? Because obviously you can't have it both. And I would like to also say that while you were rubbing shoulders with likes of Lee Talamis and Tim Richardson and the likes of the Labor Party power brokers in the southeast, taking photos, opening painted pedestrian crossings, you have
Take
not
a seat, Mr. Councillor Milkovich. What's your point of order, Councillor Tan?
It doesn't relate to this topic.
Thank you. That upholded. Thank you. Upholded. Thank you. So if you could continue with without using anything that doesn't relate to the topic. Thanks, Councillor Milkovich.
Well, Mayor, it does relate, because Honourable Sonia Kilkenny, a minister in this government, belongs to the same party that the Councillor Tan belongs to. Just last week and the week before, they attended a Labor Party state conference and were rubbing shoulders.
Thank you, Councillor Milkovich. Take a seat. Thank you, Councillor Garrard. Sorry?
Relevance. This is not relevant again to this point, and it is.
Yes.
It is.
Thank you. I think everyone needs to just take a seat, take a breath. Thank you. Let's
Just
stick
focus
to
on
the
the
actual debate, and I
I've
will
got a
ask.
question for Councillor
hang on,
Tan. Did Councillor Tan talk to the
Councillor
Minister
Milkovich,
at the Labor Party
Councillor
conference?
Milkovich, we're
No,
not
it's a
going
direct
to.
question related directly.
We're not referring to that. We are going to. You're going to make your statement. Make your statement, and then we'll debate it as it was supposed to be according.
The questions directed to Councillor Tan. So I
That's
disagree. That's fine. I'll continue.
Thank you.
Not a problem. Let's face the facts here. So we've got a consultation process that this council was involved in some couple of years ago, to which this council has noted their strong objections to the proposal of this particular project located at 51 Douglas Street, Noble Park. The minister, we're not going to mention which minister, we know who the minister is, has disagreed with the council and has directed the council to issue a planning permit, to which the council has issued. What Councillor Tan is asking us to do now is go and be in direct contravention with the planning permit that we have issued. It defies logic and it defies common sense. This council has issued, at the direction of a minister, whom we don't know who she is, a planning permit that this council has then gone and issued at. Why would a developer invest a couple of millions of dollars? Now, just for the record, I don't want this street to be knocked down, but I also don't want this council and the residents' ratepayers to be exposed to a lawsuit that we will most likely lose in any court because we are going against ourselves. Now, we've got to be reasonable and common sense here. Everybody here knows I'm against the high-rise buildings. I have stated my disgust with the high-rise apartments in Dandenong for many years in the past, because they're built poorly and they've come at a great cost to our residents, amenity, and also the exorbitant cost of honest corporations to people who own these apartments. But when you've got a minister and a state government who issues a planning permit, the council obliges and issues a planning permit, and then now we want our residents to foot a legal bill, potential legal bill, to defend not proceeding with the planning permit. This is absolute absurdity. Even the officer's report state here on page, let me just find it quickly, on page 101, financial implications. No funds have been allocated in the 2023-24 or 24-25 budget for any legal proceedings or compensation payouts that may result from this matter. So we're really leaving, thank you very much, I understand. So we're leaving all our residents exposed to the legal bill of unknown amount because Councillor Tan has now all of a sudden developed conscience about a tree on 51 Douglas Street. Her points about keeping the tree and acknowledging the importance of a building contradict each other. You got to make your move, and you got to find out where you sit, and you got to declare it. You can't have it both. Thank you, and that's why I'm opposing this motion.
Thank you, Councillor Milkovich. Are there any other speakers for or against? Yes, Councillor O'Reilly.
Thank you, Mayor. Well, I wish that this issue was black and white, Mayor, but Council finds itself in a precarious position. As has been explained, the Planning Minister has, through a planning amendment, which is quite serious, approved this particular application, and Council finds itself as the administrator of the permit, and also in the position that Council does not consent to the removal of the tree, and Council has been very clear in that in the past. On many occasions has been long and strong in its advocacy to retain this particular tree. But we now find ourselves in the situation, Mayor, where the Council, if it just in a black and white blanket way refuses consent, may be subject to legal action by the developer, by the permit holder who has already been granted the permit. So this motion is saying that we continue with our non-consent to the removal of the tree, but as an absolute fallback option, if that is then futile, that points 4 and 5 talk about what we don't prefer to happen, but if it does have to happen, that we do receive an offset payment, and that through community consultation, other trees are planted, Mayor. So I think looking on balance on the reality of the situation that Council has found itself in, we maintain our position of not consenting to the removal, but we also have a plan B in the event that it just becomes a stalemate. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor O'Reilly. Anyone else that would like to speak for or against the item? Councillor Long.
As stated in item 4.1.1, Greater Dandenong has a very low canopy coverage, and to agree to remove the tree known as number 2 would set us back even further. I have read in the report that the developer will be requested to replace this tree with $155,000 worth of other trees in Noble Park. Tree number 2 is of a significant size and has taken quite a number of years to grow. If tree number 2 was removed, the trees that would replace it would take a number of years to reach the significant size of this tree. The canopy of the tree of number 2 would be a great loss, and the canopy of the new trees would take quite a number of years to equal that of tree number 2. I urge my fellow councillors to vote for this alternative motion.
Thank you. Anyone else? Councillor Dark.
So was that somebody else?
No, you're right to go.
Thank you, Mayor. Mayor, I have listened to both sides of the debate, and this is not a good position that this council finds itself in at all. Not at all, not by a long shot. The Minister for Planning has issued an order, and the Minister for Planning overrides councils in the hierarchy. We are, in essence, a division of the state government, and the Minister for Planning has reserved powers afforded to them under the Act to allow them to override council and to make decisions that are there. What is clear is that this application has been with council for a long time, and I can see why the developer, in conjunction with AlexRA, and given that this development is of significant importance, that it'll host 97 apartments for people who come from a low socio-economic background, low social income, as affordable housing and public housing. I can see why the developer approached the minister to have the permit overridden from council, because the council was so paralysed and being unable to make a decision about trees and the matters that are there. Now, I know that we've had conversations with the developer, and the developer has said that there is no workable solution with regards to the trees, with the root system and the way that the trees sit. And that's what's come back. And I also know through conversations, and certainly in the council briefing session when decisions were made, that there were also the fact that there has been no determination from the developer that they are willing to pay $155,000 through this calculation. It has just not happened. The remit is that, given our local law and the tree protection law, should that developer just go and cut that tree down, at max, from memory of the post, they're looking at $5,000, maybe $10,000 max, is the maximum that we can possibly fine them under our own laws for just going cutting the tree down. So I think that we need to be realistic on what the value is here, because what we are debating is going against the will of a minister, a permit that has been issued for construction. We are going against 97 affordable housing apartments in the municipality.
Councillor Dark, thank you so much. Councillor Garrard?
Councillor Dark is incorrect in saying that we are opposing the development. No one is opposing the development. We are asking for a small redesign.
Yep, okay. Thank you. Point taken. Councillor Dark, if you could just avoid referring to what isn't said and just refer to the issue, please.
Well,
Thank
Mayor,
you.
I would disagree with that, because I think it states that proceeding with option 1 and continues not to consent to the removal of tree 2 is saying that you're against the development 1. And I think that there's no two ways about it. If the developer said there's no workaround. The item number 2 is continue to negotiate with the developer and the AlexRA. I don't know what remit there is to negotiate when the developer has already said no. So I don't understand the point of order and the ruling on the point of order.
That's okay. Councillor Dark, did you have anything further to add?
Mayor, I'd like your clarification on the point of order, first and foremost.
Well, the point of order is Yes, Councillor Garrard.
Just further clarification. The first is that no one is opposing the development per se. The second one is that the points 3, I think it's 4 and 5, states that failing that, there is a further amendment where there will be co-design with the community around the spend of that compensation, whatever that money turns out to be. And I hope Councillor Dark is not encouraging the developers to go and chop down that tree. I'm sure he wasn't. But that there will be co-design. And so this is quite nuanced. And I think that Councillor Dark, perhaps because he came late, has missed the nuance that actually... First thing is to not provide consent. Second thing is to consult and try for a redesign. Failing that, we have a co-design with the community around the
Sorry, Matt.
Yes.
There's no clarification as to what the point of order is, and this is a governance technicality. This is not a debate about whether Councillor Garrett's right or wrong or whatever. The argument was regarding the ruling on the point of order.
And the debate that is irrelevant to the matter under consideration. So that is the point of order.
Okay, so under item 4.11.2 of the governance rules, I move a motion of dissent against your ruling as chair and ask that the Deputy Mayor take the chair and a dissent motion be put.
I second that.
So now ask Tim to speak to his motion of dissent.
Just like the Councillor Dark to speak right now.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. Deputy Mayor, the item of a motion of dissent has to do with purely and simply just the governance rules, and that is a ruling on the point of order. I believe that the point of order that I was making is relevant under the governance rules. I think that the point of order was the comments I was making was directly relevant to the item and the planning application that is currently before us. And I feel that the chair ruled in error of judgment against the rules and the governance rules.
Now, the next one would like to ask Councillor Milkovic. You have anything to say, Councillor?
Just echo the words of Councillor Dark. The point of order was called incorrectly. The topic that the Councillor Dark was referring to is directly in front of us, as suggested and as debated tonight, and all the points mentioned are relevant to this particular motion. Thank you.
Bond, if you would like.
Now, Councillor Formoso, anything to say? Yep, thanks.
Put it to the vote. It's a procedure. Supporting the dissent.
Now, just would like to vote now. Yeah, whoever support the motion not to remove the tree. Yeah, just like yep.
Who supports the motion of dissent in the chair?
Yep. Okay. Yeah, whoever support the dissent of the chair. Yeah, please, we would like to have a vote.
There has been no resolution. Sorry? There's been no resolution to the point.
No, the motion on the table at the moment is the motion of dissent in the chair. That's what we're voting on. We will come back to the other motion after we've resolved the point of order. Okay? So the motion on the table.
Yep, you said right. Now the point of order, just like to ask all the councillor, whoever vote for dissent of the chair, the dissent of the chair.
All in favour.
All in favour, please.
Can I point of clarification? I think we need to be clear on what we're voting on. Can I just ask the question? So we are voting that that if we vote for this, we are voting for the deputy to stay in the chair or for the mayor to return?
If I may, through the chair, a motion of dissent is on the table now to vote whether the motion of dissent is passed, and if the motion of dissent is passed, then Councillor Dark's point of order is valid. we will get back to that after the motion of dissent. Okay, so now we go to back to the motion of dissent, and we ask who is in favour of the motion of dissent.
Yeah, through the chair, that means the dissent is that the mayor stays, or Councillor Formoso stays over there, and the deputy mayor takes over the whole meeting. Is that correct? No. I just want. I've never seen this before.
Agree with the point of order or not? On the ruling of the. Do you agree with the.
A motion of dissent does not is only on a point of order. Okay. So now we will go again to a vote in regard to the motion of dissent. Who is in favour of the motion of dissent through the chair?
Yeah, Councillor Dark and Councillor Milkovic.
Who is against?
Now, the next one is who against the motion of the dissent? Yeah. Yeah, Councillor Garage, Councillor Truong, Councillor Long, Councillor Tan, and Councillor O'Reilly, and also Councillor Dan.
The motion of dissent is lost.
Therefore, is the dissent, the motion of dissent is lost now. Therefore, we go ahead with the.
And the mayor will take the chair.
You're going to invite the mayor to come back to take over the chair. Thank you.
Okay. Excellent. Now that we all got that out of the way. The ruling on the point of order is upheld, so can we please continue, Councillor Dark?
Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you.
So, Mayor, following up with regards to the item, certainly what I think that there is, I think there needs to be a sensible option given the Minister's direction to issue the plans and permits for this site. And I find it incredibly difficult, the situation that this council finds itself in, where we've issued a permit and now we are backtracking on a permit we issued. It, without a doubt, exposes us to significant legal ramifications should the developer take that option of then pursuing costs against council that we've issued a permit and now backtracking on it. And my fear is that the potential loss to the ratepayers, should the matter be upheld and be cost to council, will be significant. And that is why I will not be supporting this alternate with the amendment.
Thank you, Councillor Dark. Anyone else that wishes to speak to this item? Councillor Tan, as the mover, you have 4 minutes.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you for everyone's speech. So I heard both sides. So just go back to Councillor Bobkovic, just regarding what you said before about how there's no consultation on this item. Obviously, the consultation, we did council involved since May 2022. Okay, so it's been a long time. If you're saying there's no consultation between council and the planning minister, that is incorrect. I just also want to urge the councillor that the planning permit was approved by the minister, and there is condition in the planning permit for the tree protection. Okay, either way.
Point of order, Mayor.
No, I'm just talking about it.
Sit down, please, Councillor Tan.
Tree protection.
Hang on, Councillor Tan. He's calling the point of order.
Thank you.
You
Thank you,
sit
Mayor.
down, I listen to his point of order, then we debate that.
The planning permit was not issued by the minister. The council was directed by the minister to issue a planning permit. The minister doesn't issue permits or planning permits. The council is directed by the high authority to issue permits. So
Thank you. That's valid. That's valid.
Okay,
That's
I meant to
correct.
say
If you could just
the
stick
minister
to the.
approved the planning permit. Okay.
No.
So,
Mayor.
The minister approved the planning scheme amendment.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Amendment. Yeah.
That's not what you said, but that's okay. Let's stay on topic. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, so again, we're here today to save the history of Noble Park. So get rid of the river red gum tree. It's like you waive the history of Noble Park. You can't get the tree back since hundred of years. So you not promoting, you're not supporting the environmental, economic, like it's to do with everything. So to do with social, to do with amenities. So not supporting the benefit of what's surrounding in Noble Park. And plus, for my concerns that mainly we just need to negotiate. So it's not, like I said before, it's not to do with the redesign of the whole buildings. It's just the redesign of what we can do to save our tree. So thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Tam. So are those all in favour of the alternate motion? Could you raise your hand, please? Councillor Trong, Councillor Garrard, Councillor Long, Councillor Tan, Councillor O'Reilly, Councillor Lim, Deputy Mayor, Lim, and Councillor Dan. Okay, and all those against? Councillor Dark, Councillor Milkovich. That motion, that alternate motion is carried. Oh, sorry, mine was a no. So still carried. Thank you. Yep, sure, Councillor O'Reilly.
Thank you, Mayor. This was a difficult decision for everybody. I'd just like to add a couple of things. And Mayor, also acknowledge the presence of the Lorax in the public gallery, and just have a few words. So, in this matter, dear friends, we're in a tough spot. The state's given the nod, like it or not. Blanket resistance could lead to a fall with no compensation or offsets at all. If we stand firm, say no, let it stay, the tree may go anyway without any pay. No funds to plant new trees in its place, and legal bills might put us in quite a race. Council's in a precarious position, it's true, with potential legal costs unbudgeted too. Other areas could suffer, oh what a plight, all because we tried to put up a fight. I'd never forgive myself, oh what a fuss, if I gave false hope to the Lorax among us. In different times I might choose another way, but today let's find a balanced way. And finally, every point raised in public question time was sound. Councillors share the frustration all around. We feel the helplessness the protesters call, but we must make a choice that benefits all. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor O'Reilly. Putting good AI to use. I like it. Anyone else that would like to? Thank you, Deputy Mayor, Councillor Lim.
Yep, thank you, Mayor. Like Councillor O'Reilly already mentioned that. To me, my point of view is similar to Councillor O'Reilly as well. We try our best to preserve the tree, but if we can't, we probably have to looking for alternative. Alternative would mean that hopefully we can get some money from the developer to grow some more tree. We try our best anyway, but sometimes we have no choice anyway. But we try our best for everyone in our city. Thank you for that.
Thank you. Okay. Moving on. Did anyone else want to speak to that item? No? Excellent. Thank you. So moving on to item 4.2.2, response to notice of motion number 31, preparedness for impacts of climate-related events. Can I have a mover, please? Councillor Garrard, and a seconder, please.
I'll second.
Thank you, Councillor Dark. Are there any questions? Is there any opposition? The item is carried. Councillor Garrard.
Sorry. The council is on the front foot in dealing with climate impacts. It is actually leading the local government sector in this space, and we know that we're in for difficult times. And this council has taken the initiative to be on the front foot and to make sure that it is well prepared, and it has really robust communication systems co-designed with the community that will protect the community when other municipalities are not at this stage yet. I congratulate the Council for taking this on in such a robust manner, for making such a comprehensive response to the notice of motion, and I think we are well served by the adoption of this policy and this procedure, and I thank the Council for their arduous work on this.
Thank you. Ms Weatherall.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. On the next item, I've declared a conflict of interest and will leave the chamber.
Sorry, I was just going to speak to the preparedness item.
Okay, thanks, Councillor Dark.
Sorry. So I just want to echo the sentiments of Councillor Garrett. This was an item that I suggested an amendment to, particularly with regards to all of the emergency events at the time that this motion was originally put forward. Given the substantial flooding that we've had, particularly through the Keysborough ward and the older infrastructure areas such as Noble Park, the flooding was significant. We have been exposed and it's put our assets and infrastructure under strain. So to be able to come up with an action plan that appropriately responds to and works with a plan on how do we actually dealing with that to deal with future events, particularly given, as Councillor Garrard mentions almost every council meeting, that we're in a climate environment where we do have changing climates and we do have significant wind, we do have significant fire, we do have significant flooding issues that we are going to be facing and not getting any better. So with that, the report is very comprehensive dealing with that, showing the drainage, the rules and roles of retarding basins, and hopefully we can at least get on the mitigation issues the next time that we have a significant wet weather event.
Thank you. We'll just wait for Ms Weatherall to leave the chambers.
Mrs. Weatherall is leaving the chamber because she has a direct material conflict of interest of a pecuniary nature. She's the CEO, she's the incumbent, which this report is about, and she will directly benefit should the officer's recommendation be endorsed by Council.
Thanks, Ms Roberts. Can I get a mover for this, please? Councillor Garrard. A seconder? Councillor O'Reilly. Are there any questions? Is there any opposition?
I'll record an abstention on this item, so we'd have to go in camera.
Okay.
I'd like to record abstention as well, please. Thank you.
Yep. Have you got that? Yep, thanks. Any other questions? Any opposition? The item is carried. Thank you. Can we ask Ms Weatherall to come back in, please?
Mayor, before she comes back in, I'd like to speak. Go back.
Councillor Garrard.
Madam Mayor, I would like to say that that our CEO has been with us for almost 2 years, I believe now, and in that time we have seen a substantial uplift in contemporary management and leadership under her stewardship, and that the review that was undertaken found that she is doing exceptionally well. And I want to congratulate her, even though she is not in the room, for the significant and important work that she has done, and the great level of change management that was required when she started, which was significant and required, and she undertook that in a robust way, and we today are a much stronger and better organisation for the work she has done and for the appointments she has made. So I just want to acknowledge her substantial work as our CEO.
Thank you. Thanks, Kay. Item 4.2.4, list of registered correspondence to mayors and councillors. Can I get a mover, please? Councillor Trong. Seconder. Thank you, Councillor Long. Are there any questions? Councillor Garrard.
Thank you, Mayor. I note that in the correspondence that there was correspondence received from the Scanlon organisation, and and requesting us to take part in the Scanlon Social Report. Given the diversity of our community and the high level of racism, discrimination and social disadvantage, what has our response been to the invitation to become part of this significant social report?
Ms Gillies, if you can respond to that. You can take it on notice if need be, if it hasn't been recorded.
Through you, Mayor, I don't think actually would have gone to Ms Gillies because it concerns strengthening democracy research project. We'll need to take that on notice and I'll come back.
Thank you. All right, any questions? Any further questions? No. Any opposition? The item is carried. Item 4.2.5, report on matters discussed at council briefing sessions and pre-council meetings. Can I get a mover, please?
Moved.
Councillor
Happy to
Long.
second it.
Seconded by Councillor Milkovich. Thank you. Are there any questions? Is there any opposition? The item is carried. Okay, item 4.2.6. This is a confidential item, so for ease of the meeting procedure, I will ask for a motion from the floor to alter the standing order of the agenda to move this item to just before the close of business. So could I please have a mover for this?
Yes,
thank you.
Move as described.
Thank you, Councillor O'Reilly. And a seconder? Councillor Deputy Mayor, Councillor Lim. Are there any questions? Is there any opposition? As there is no opposition, then the item is carried and this item is now moved to after item 7 in tonight's agenda. Thank you. Item 5. Item 5, notices of motion. As there is no notice of motion, we'll move to item 6, reports from councillors, delegated members and councillor questions. I'll start with Councillor Trong, please.
Thank you, Mayor. On the Monday, 20th of May, I attended the Freedom Day Club 16th anniversary at the Dandenong with the mayor, the deputy mayor, and others. On Wednesday, of 22nd of May, I attended the Mother Day party organized by VASA at the Waiting Materials restaurant. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Dark.
Thank you, Mayor. Mayor, I just wish to first say my thanks to the Director of City Futures with regards to an incident that I've had for about 4 years now in Rivergun Place in Keysborough, particularly dealing with the drainage system and some issues that have been going on. And I had another request from the resident who asked to meet one of the council officers there. The council officer attended, actually met with the resident and was able to come to a solution with regards to ensuring that the stormwater drains are protected. And then upgrade is going to be done there as well. And the resident was very, very thankful of it. And she wished to pass on my thanks. She called me straight after and was very, very happy that finally after 4 years that the stormwater drain is going to be repaired and fixed. So I just want to pass on my thanks to that. Another item which is actually very, very exciting is Walk to Reserve. The next stage of the master plan has commenced. The fences have been put up around just to the next to the playground. There is new picnic shelters, barbecues and seating areas that are now being installed so that families that can now attend actually have somewhere a bit larger to go. There's been a lot of kids' birthday parties that have been held there and there just hasn't been sufficient space to actually get that upgraded. Is really, really exciting. And second to that as well is next door, there's a much larger toilet block that is now being installed as well than the old standard single toilet block that the council installed 15 odd years ago. So to actually get to a stage now, we've got larger facilities on site with picnic facilities, with seating, with shelter and a state-of-the-art playground that's going to become a fantastic playground. I know there's been regular correspondence on the Keysborough Community Notice Board and the Humans of Keysborough Facebook page as well about the upgrades and how people are actually going there on the weekend. And it's a new go-to park for kids to have playgrounds and kids to have their birthday parties at. That's very exciting. The first question I have this evening is regards to Parkland Court. I've had a query from a resident who lives in Eunora Court that backs onto the back of Parkland Reserve off Parkland Court in Keysborough. There were some upgrades that were done to the reserve in terms of some landscaping, a path and some trail sort of area as well. It's not a very large park, but it's one that does get a lot of use. The upgrades were done and then sort of came to a halt, and the resident was wondering whether there was any potential for any further upgrades, whether there's any potential for any additional seating and some planting, everything like that as well. If we could please have a look at that.
Thanks, Councillor Dark. Mr Manivasi-Gasavam, if you could respond, please.
Yes, thank you for that. I'm happy to take that on notice and then talk to the teams and then come back to you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. Mayor, my next question to the relevant officer. I read, actually was sent to me and I missed it in the Dandenong Journal, regarding the Rowley Allen Reserve, and there's a significant block to the right-hand side of the Lawn Bowls Club, which there's been a lot of conversation that there is a request from the CFA to basically house a new fire station there on Cheltenham Road in a council reserve that is in an area where there's not much open space at all. My question is, has the CFA or has the SES or any of the ministers in the state government made any conversations or correspondence to council regarding this specific site, and two, where is it currently at with that correspondence?
Thank you. Ms Weatherall.
Thank you, Councillor Dark. Certainly there's been some informal conversations about the possibility, and I have been awaiting a formal letter from one of the agencies, and to date I haven't received anything. So I have it on my list of things to do to contact the new CEO for the SES and speak to him about if there is any interest.
Thanks, Ms Weatherall.
Thank you, Mayor. No further questions.
Thank you. Councillor Milkovich.
Thank you, Mayor. Just one question tonight to the relevant officer. I've had a complaint from quite a few residents along Cardinia Close and Sylvan Court in Dandenong North regarding a council-owned parcel of land that runs alongside from Brady Road and Cardinia Close all the way up to number 11 Cardinia Close, in regarding some antisocial behaviour at all hours of night, and apparently quite a lot of incidents with police attending the property, which is apparently council-owned property. I'm not sure, but I'm just putting it out there, where they've discovered a lot of stolen goods. So whoever operates this property or leases it out from us or illegally uses it, they seem to be using and abusing over there. So I could please ask someone to either get in touch with myself or organise maybe a site inspection just to get to the bottom of who actually owns it, are we in charge, not, and how to stop this, because residents are directly opposite and they reckon the music's going at 3 o'clock in the morning, headlights, so on and so forth. It's making for a really uncomfortable, place to live, and all those people bought houses along police paddocks so they can enjoy the peace and quiet, and it seems to be not happening lately. So anyone...
Thank you, Councillor Milkovich. We'll have a look at that.
Thank you.
Thanks. Yeah, Ms Gillies will take that on notice. Any other questions, Councillor Milkovich?
Sorry, that's it from me.
Thank you. Councillor Garrard.
Thank you. I also wish to thank the Council for the positive outcome that we received last week for the Sikh Temple after, I think, 18 months of intense negotiation, which at some point the temple was going to be required to spend over $100,000 just to maintain a safe entry and exit from the temple. We have now got a very satisfactory outcome, and I wish to thank the relevant officer that we are finally at a point where they will have a safe entry into the temple, which is what actually they should have had in the first place. So I really thank the relevant officer for the negotiations they have done around that. My first question is regarding newly planted trees in Kincoit Drive. Many of them are dying. Just wondering when the council is going to address it.
Thank you. Mr Manivasi-Gasavam, if you could respond, please.
Yes, so thank you for your question. And council officers have inspected the trees today and identified 2 trees in poor condition and have been scheduled for replacement in this planting season.
Thank you. Councillor
Thank you. My next question is regarding the Sandown development, the development that we have all been locked out of, and the significant amount of work that has already been done that none of us have had any input into. There were, I believe, 1,000 letters distributed to residents surrounding the development, informing them of the progress and the upcoming public consultation. However, the residents that will be directly affected, particularly those in Noble Park, who may be subject to flooding and significant disruption to the traffic and infrastructure around Sandown, have not received letters. So my question is to the Council, how will we ensure that those residents that are, in the wider radius around Sandown, who will be directly and indirectly affected, how will we ensure that they are fully informed of the consultation process?
Thank you. Mr. Manivasagasavam, if you could respond, please.
Through you, Mayor, the Department of Transport and Planning are undertaking the public exhibition process for Sandown redevelopment. DDP are notifying the community by sending approximately 4,600 letters to the properties surrounding Sandown and placing information on the Engage Victoria website and in local newspapers. The public exhibition period is occurring from 20th of May to 24th June, during which time any interested residents can make any submission. In addition to this, Council provided a link on our website to Engage Victoria and have also placed information on our 3 customer service counters. Council has worked with DDP to ensure these documents are available in the 5 top spoken languages in the surrounding area. Council also requested that DDP undertake community drop-in session. However, DDP determined not to proceed with these.
Thank you.
Thank you. So, just in summary, there'll be almost 5,000 more letters sent out and other means in language. Thank you. That's very good to hear. My final question tonight slightly relates to a question that was asked in public questions. It is relating to the governance issues relating to the Sandown report and the subsequent governance recommendations from that. In 2001, when this council adopted the Developer Councillor Contact Register, we were one of the first in Victoria to adopt that. My question is, since the recommendations came out last year, has the Council received any advice or correspondence on updating or improving governance measures, particularly relating to corruption, following the release of the IBAC recommendations in June, so 1 year ago?
Thank you. Mr. Foley, if you could respond, please.
Through you, Mayor, and thanks for your question, Councillor. We've not received any specific advice, but we have received specific notification of the Local Government Amendment Bill, which I think you're aware is currently before State Parliament. The second reading's now moved on the 1st of May. The proposed legislation goes some way to address those IBAC recommendations from Operation Sandown, and we're still awaiting the final form of legislation. If councillors wish, the issue can be raised at a future briefing session once the legislation receives assent.
Thank you.
Thank you. Just as a follow-up, the amendments cover code of conduct and other related issues related to councillors' behaviour and code of conduct. It doesn't cover governance. So it'd be great if we could have a briefing session. Thank you. That's the end of my question.
Thank you. Councillor Long.
These are some of the events I've attended since my last formal meeting. On the 14th of May, I attended the Mother's Day lunch for the Mauritian Golden Age Club. 17th of May, I attended a soccer match between Avondale Soccer Club and Dandenong City. Avondale won 1-0. 21st of May, I attended the civic reception for SES and CFA volunteers at Dandenong Civic Centre. 26th of May was Sorry Day for our First Nations people. 27th of May, I attended a flag-raising ceremony for Reconciliation Day in Harmony Square, Dandenong. Thank you.
Thank you. Deputy Mayor Councillor Richard Lim, please.
Thank you, Mayor. The last fortnight I was very busy as usual, but I already emailed to Governor already. I just want to make it as short as possible. I attended AGM Burden Park Bowling Club. That's a great one, but they really need a lot of help from us and also from state government. I try my best to help them. And also the following Monday, I already also meeting with Ahmadiyya Muslim Association with the mayor at our civic center here. And also on Thursday, the next day, we already, on the 16th of May, I already also attend the flag raising ceremony for Ida Hobart, just to support them at Harmony Square with the mayor, actually myself only, sorry about that. And also after that, I have a meeting with one of my mentees from Monash University Faculty of Pharmacy. Regarding to that mentee, I mentioned that because they want to know, Monash University want her to know who am I, what I'm doing at the council, whatever. I want to mention about that, just to give her some idea what is counselor job all about, and plus other things beside that, like a pharmacist, to be a lead or whatever, that's a different role altogether. That's my role. And the following Monday, I attend the Freedom Day Club with Councillor Lloyd Trung and also Councillor Philip Dan as well. The 16th anniversary with also the mayor as well. On the next day, the Tuesday, I attend civic reception to acknowledge and thank you SES and CFA. Very exciting to meet my colleague as well. She's a pharmacist, that close friend of our mayor. And she's a great lady, honestly, to you. And she's been serving SES for many, many years now. I asked our guild president to put her on Pharmacy Guild magazine, just to mention about how great she is that served the community, especially for the storm last February. And also, I have a meeting also with the board member of RSL in the afternoon, and plus Monash Health Foundation as well, regarding to gala dinner for Monash children again on the 24th of August. I would like our councillor to try to attend, because so far we don't understand much about what is Monash Health all about, that look after us in the southeast. We have big 8 hospitals that take care of us, plus a lot of small day hospital, community healthcare center just nearby us, only next door to us as well, but not many people are aware of that, but only aware of Royal Children, aware of probably Royal Melbourne, that sort of thing as well. And on a Friday, I had a chance also attend what we call Sandong Cup, and after that I went to support Springvale Rotary City just to raise funds as well for their project. And after that, I had a chance to meet one of the member of parliament from Canberra. Just the idea, just want to ask her to support our Springvale Revitalisation Action Plan, and also pass the message through her to our Claire O'Neill as well, member of Hotham, to support, because we already endorsed our Springvale Revitalisation Action Plan on the 13th of May, 2 weeks ago. That's everyone's so happy with that. And also on a Saturday, May and I, we attended Africa Day Australia Gala Dinner. And that's a good one, very successful one as well. And next day, the Sunday, yesterday, I had a good chance to spend almost all day at Springvale Activity Centre and other corner of the street as well, just to talk to business owner, to inform them about our Springvale Revitalisation Action Plan already endorsed by our council. We're going to start now. Hopefully we can do phase by phase from 1 to 5, 5 to 10, 10 to 15 years and so on. And everyone very exciting about that. And also, I also attend reconciliation with flag raising ceremony with our mayor as well at our Harmony Square. And after that, today I went to Noble Park Community Center. The idea went there just to support the art exhibition. And secondly, I had another meeting with a committee member of community center there. That is a great thing that I learned a lot from Noble Park Community Center, that every ward should learn from that one. Next meeting, I'm going to inform everyone what they have done so far. They achieved so much, they don't need our fund much, and also they always run the community with surplus as well. And after that, I have another chance to raise awareness about Monash Health Foundation as well, that they willing to spread the word to our community in our southeast to understand what is Monash all about. Thanks for that. I just wanted to finally, I would like to thank you, the mayor, all our councillor, the CEO, all the director and manager that put a lot of work and effort the last 18 months to support this Springvale revitalization action plan. That's a good one. After a long journey, now we come to the conclusion that we endorse that. We just try to work hard, very close with the CEO, with the director, with all the councillors to make sure our Springvale are going to become very nice and very lovely place of attraction. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Tan.
Thank you, Mayor. I know everyone's been busy the last 2 weeks, so I'll pass my report. So I'm going to just ask a few questions. I've got a few questions tonight for the relevant officers. So the first one, just a follow-up questions. This is regarding to the unregistered or abandoned vehicles that park on Pop Road. So through you, Mayor, through the relevant officer. So in Keys Road, so it's concern from the business owner, which is like a dumping place right now, vehicle parking with not even registered on the road, which is caused a lot of damage to the business environment. Also, it's make it really hard for people to find parking. So I just want to find out, do they have any update on this investigation yet? Thanks.
I think that's probably 2 directorates, but we'll go with you first, Ms. Gillies, if you don't mind.
Through you, Madam Mayor. Sorry, Councillor Tan, I actually didn't pick up the location you were
Pop Road, Keysborough. So I think I sent it to Sanjay, but yeah, just need to know an update on these things.
Yeah, so currently the parking officers and also the local laws officers are investigating that, and I'll provide you an update once what are the outcomes with the abandoned vehicles and also the parking issues. Yeah, currently we are going through that investigation process.
Thank you. Question 2, got a resident who came up to me sometime last week, just a concern about anti-social behaviours that's happening recently in front of Coles Noble Park. So through you, Mayor, just a question through the relevant officer. In terms of any antisocial behaviour, so we have to go through our local police, so I just want to find out, do we still have a police patrol that's really active in our activity centre, and how often do they roaming around the activity? Thanks.
Ms. Gillies, if you could respond, please.
Through you, Madam Mayor, and thank you, Councillor Tan. Certainly we're aware VicPol are under quite a bit of strain at the moment in terms of their resourcing. We haven't, though, been advised that they have stopped doing any of their normal patrols. We do know that they will focus on areas that are known hotspots and or areas that have had reported issues. So I can't answer you in terms of how frequently they're undertaking those reviews, but certainly we can ask them for some further information. As I mentioned, though, we do know that they are focusing on areas of known hotspot, particularly at the moment where they're resource stretched.
Thank you, Ms. Gillies.
So in terms of the hotspots, which area classified as hotspots? Do we have the list of all the hotspot area?
Thanks, Ms. Gillies.
Through you, Madam Mayor. No, sorry, in terms of hotspots, it's where multiple issues are reported to the police. So police obviously receive a number of reports. They will then work with us if they're areas, for example, that they want to access CCTV and the like. But in terms of hotspots, it's not a list, it's areas, it's a responsive thing in terms of where they're having regular issues and reports of issues from the community.
Thanks, Ms. Gillies.
Through the information I've got, if council can do anything to help, because at the moment some resident doesn't feel, even the shop owner and resident doesn't feel safe to just shop around there due to this incident. So I'll send through some information for you just to find out what we can do to help. Okay, thank you. My next question, Mayor, just regarding to, I just want to find out an update on the CIP project that was requested last year, 23-24, so meant to be completed by this financial year. So it's the library lockers that need to be installed at the Noble Park Activity Centre. So I just want to find out how's that going. Thanks.
Thank you, Councillor Tan. Ms Gillies, please.
Through you, Madam Mayor. We're really pleased that we've so far been able to deliver one of the 2 library locker projects. The second one is well and truly in motion. We're just got to go through, because the land that it's proposed for doesn't belong to us. We're just currently going through a licensing process with the landowner to make sure that we've got the appropriate approvals in place to actually place the library locker where we're looking to have it. So I can find out exactly where that's at for you, but that was the last update as of a few weeks ago. At the moment, it's just pending approvals from the landowner.
That's all from me. Thanks.
Thank you, Councillor Tan. Councillor O'Reilly.
No report this meeting. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Councillor Dan, please.
Thank you, Mayor. I'd just like to make a couple comments on National Reconciliation Week, which is this week, with this year's theme being Now More Than Ever. I'd like to congratulate Council on hosting a wonderful flag-raising event this morning to commemorate Reconciliation Week, and also the artworks that were on display at Harmony Square that is now displaying here in the Council chambers. Now more than ever is an important reminder that the fight for justice in our First Nations communities are always ongoing. It's important for our community, the most multicultural council in the country, to tackle racism when we see it and ensure that everyone has equal access to prosperity, regardless of who you are. As last week was also National Volunteers Week, I'd also just like to acknowledge the work of all the volunteers in Noble Park and Dandenong West in my ward. Without you, there wouldn't be sporting clubs and community organisations that bring so much to our vibrant neighbourhoods. And on that note as well, I just have one question for the relevant officer about Fotheringham Reserve. I was approached by a member of the newly relocated Greater Dandenong Football Club, who noted that the floodlights are currently faulty, impacting the junior team's ability to train, especially now that we're heading into the winter months and the evenings are beginning sooner. I was also advised that this has already been raised with council in the past, but the club's just still waiting for an update. Happy to try and provide further information if needed, but in the meantime, is there an update on the matter at all?
Thank you. Ms Gillies, if you could respond, please.
Through you, Madam Mayor, and thank you so much for raising that. I'm happy to have a look into the progress with that and give you some direct feedback if helpful. It is certainly one of the ones that we know we're looking to upgrade, certainly needs upgrade, as do a number of the facilities. So I'm certainly happy to provide you with an update this week around progress with that.
Great, thank you so much for that. And I'll be heading down there on Thursday night as well, so I'm more than happy to ask them for any information that would be useful to you. But that was all. Thank you, Mayor.
Thanks for that. I'll table all the events that I attended, but the one that I did want to mention in particular was the flag-raising ceremony this morning that marked the beginning of Reconciliation Week. So I would like to thank Anika, a young Indigenous woman who grew up in this area, and for her acknowledgement of country. It was really good to see an emerging Indigenous young person that was here to represent the community, and we're also joined by a large crowd of council officers and community members, which was really fantastic. National Reconciliation Week is a time for us to learn about the history, culture and achievements of our Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples. As part of our gathering, we remember that Aboriginal people have been in Australia for more than 60,000 years. And their continuing connection to this land is something we can all learn from. The Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander flags fly in Harmony Square and at Springville Community Hub every day of the year. But today, by ceremoniously raising the flags together, Council signals its ongoing commitment to reconciliation and recognition of all First Nations people. We acknowledge the role of non-Aboriginal people in our progress towards reconciliation. This year, the theme for the week is Now More Than Ever. This theme signifies a call to action. It is a reminder to all of us that the struggle continues for full, equitable participation of Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people in Australia, and the struggle for recognition of cultural rights must continue. Now more than ever, we need to work towards a true reconciliation and call out racism wherever we encounter it. I want to encourage you all to think about how you might be able to support reconciliation in your own lives. I hope Reconciliation Week sparks a desire to learn more about our shared history with First Nations people and gives you an opportunity to reflect on the role we can all play on the journey towards reconciliation. On behalf of Council, I want to thank Bunurong Land Council for their guidance, partnership and support in helping us to deliver our Reconciliation Action Plan. We are currently working on our third plan, which will guide our actions over the coming years. Thank you. Ms Weatherall, questions to be taken on notice from last meeting?
Yes, I've provided them for you attaching to the minutes.
Thank you very much. Item 7, urgent business. There is no urgent business. What we'll do now is go back to confidential item 4.2.6. Councillor Garrard.
Yes, I will excuse myself. I have a close connection to that item.
We'll just wait for Councillor Garrard to leave the chambers. We don't. We've got to resolve to close it. That's okay. This is a confidential item, so I'll ask for a mover and second of the recommendation on page 129, please. Can I have a mover?
I'll move that.
Thank you. We're going to do that next.
No, we're going to go confidential first.
Yes. That we're moving that, and then seconder on that, please. Thank you, Deputy Mayor Lim. Are there any questions? Is there any opposition? That item is carried. So if we could close the chamber, please, and ask the web. Okay, thank you for everyone that left the chambers for that item. Just going on to item 8, if I could please, closing of business, and that is at 9:09 p.m. Thank you very much. Stay safe. Have a lovely evening. Thank you. Good night.